welcome to Wristwatch Adventures, adventures with affordable watches. So today we're going to be looking at and comparing two affordable divers from my collection, the Seiko Samurai and the Citizen Promaster BN0220. Both aggressively styled, fairly large brutes in terms of their style as divers watches. Quite different in their way in terms of their specs though, however, as we'll see. So I have a dilemma. Do I flip at least one of them to make space in my collection and begin to save some money towards one of my grail dive watches? More about that a little bit later in the video. Okay then, so let's take a look at each of them now and compare their specs and the pros and cons. First of all then, the Samurai. This particular one is the reference SRPF03K1. This is the fairly basic model actually. You can get King Samurai versions which have some upgrades in terms of their spec, such as the ceramic bezel instead of the aluminium bezel insert here. You can also get ones that have more fancy patterned dials and also a cyclops over the date there. This one though, however, is the fairly basic one in a kind of monochrome color scheme. I rather like it because it reminds me more of the vintage Seiko divers, and I think over time this will pick up some wear and patination that will tell a story and give that classic Seiko diver beta watch kind of look to this. You may be able to pick up on camera already. This one has already picked up a couple of little minor scratch marks on the case there due to those kind of rather aggressively geometrically styled lugs, which is I think part of the reason why this has that nickname of Samurai, due to the kind of angular armor look about the case and lugs here of this particular watch. Okay, specs then. So as I mentioned, size wise it is on the substantial side. If you have an averagely sized wrist or larger, mine happens to be 7¼ inches, it will look good on you, although it does, you know, it's quite substantial. It doesn't wear particularly hugely due to the way that the lugs angle down there, thus helping a bracelet or rubber strap hug the wrist. So 44mm across, lug to lug 47, depth fairly typical for a diver's watch, 13mm depth. In terms of what's inside it, it's Seiko's 4R35 movement, which is it's okay. It's not especially accurate. Has a power reserve of 40 hours and is, in terms of accuracy, -45 to +35 seconds a day. So no, not fabulous. You will find yourself, you know, adjusting this one a fair amount if you wear it day after day. Straps then, lug width there, 22mm, you know, fairly standard size. As I have mentioned, I've got this on the rubber strap at the moment. I've got a rubber strap, aftermarket rubber strap by Crafter Blue, with a nice substantial stainless steel buckle and keeper there. I rather like this one. That's where I tend to keep it on. In there, some of the B-reel footage in this video though, however, you'll see I've got it on the steel bracelet. Seiko's bracelets, as ever, not particularly wonderful, it has to be said. The pin and collar style fittings for strap adjustment are a bit of a pain. The stamped clasp as opposed to milled, yeah, it's not great in this day and age, considering if you spend you know, £400 sterling for UK on a diver's watch and you buy a micro brown watch, you're often going to get a milled clasp and a generally higher level of bracelet there. So that's not the best, to be honest. The bezel, in terms of its ratcheting action, quite smooth. It's not the grippiest bezel actually. It's quite a slim bezel, and it's not the greatest. It does have some great knurling here on the bezel edges, great knurling on the screw-in crown there, and also rather like the shape of the crown guards there, sort of mirroring that shape, that aggressive geometric shape of the lugs here. So I think that is quite stylish. It's quite good, as you would expect for a diver's watch. It is 200 meters depth rated. It's proper ISO tested diver's watch. Crystal, Seiko's proprietary Hardlex mineral crystal. Yeah, it's not sapphire crystal. It may pick up scratches in time, although I've been wearing mine quite a lot over the last year and I've not picked up any scratches there, although I have mentioned that there's the odd little scratch on the case. So let's see it on wrist there. So that's what it looks like there. I had my beach day there wearing these to just sort of see which one I'm still more in love with, and if I can bear to move one or both of these on. Again, we'll return to that later in the video and I'll outline my, my dilemma, my possible choices there. Okay, now then, on to the Citizen. The BN0220 Promaster, a reissue or reimagining, should I say, of a 1982 Citizen diver's watch in a similar style. So this one is quite different in some regards to the Seiko Samurai. So the case is Duratec coated titanium. This is light and apparently very, very tough titanium. In terms of its dimensions then, you know, similarly aggressively styled, but also similarly wearable due to its lug design. So here it's a kind of square shaped 45.8, which sounds huge, doesn't it? You know, across the case here, excluding the crown and excluding these guards here that come at each of the four corners. But it does wear well due to the lugless design. As you can see, the rubber strap slopes straight down from the case and hugs the wrist well. In terms of its height, 14 millimeters, so it's quite a big boy here, okay? And lug width, 24 millimeters. This rubber strap that it came on here is nice and soft, nice and durable also, and I rather like the titanium buckle design here, similarly aggressive. The keepers here, it has this system of keepers here, one that's fixed and one that can move around a little bit. It's quite fiddly, this strap, I have to say. It's quite a bit of a pain to get on and off. Now then, the engine of this watch is Citizen's Eco Drive, solar movement here, much more accurate due to the nature of this. So it's -15 to +15 seconds per month, and it will run without charge on power reserve for 6 months apparently. So, you know, you will rarely have to do much or set this watch once you've set it. Screw down crown again, knurl, screw down crown, very practical as you would expect here. Now the bezel action, oh, okay, far more clicky. I think this is a 60 as opposed to 120 click bezel here, quite aggressively styled with these kind of large parts here to help you grab on. The bezel looks to be ceramic here. The face itself a little smaller than the one on the Samurai here. In terms of the glass here, mineral glass, it just says crystal glass on Citizen's website, so it's not sapphire once again. Price wise, a bit more affordable than the Seiko Samurai. At the moment there are some pretty good deals on this. You can pick these up for around about the £230 sterling mark, something like that. So yeah, pretty affordable. On wrist then, again we can see that it wears pretty well if you have a medium or larger style size wrist, so it wears well on my 7¼ inch wrist there. Okay, now then, onto lume. Both of these are lume monsters, it has to be said. And I tested these after 10 minutes, having been charged up with a torch. The lume's still really visible. I would say they're both pretty comparable, one's not better than the other. Overall then, what am I to do? The more I talk about these, the more I see them again on that footage I took, the more I remember why I really love these two divers watches. But I've got a lot of watches in my collection, it's growing, and I am really tempted to flip one or both to start to save up towards a grail watch. I would really love to have a Squale 1521 in that beautiful sunburst blue color that they do. Wonderful stuff. So perhaps mention in the comments, what would you do? Would you keep one of these, both of these, neither of them? Is my plan a good idea or not? I'd be really appreciative of any comments that you might have. Okay, so there's my overview of these two beasts, these two beastly dive watches. Okay, so thank you for watching. If you've enjoyed this video, please do consider liking and subscribing, and I'll see you again soon.